This video today is about regenerative fitness, and this is a very interesting wording because the concept of regenerative fitness I've never read somewhere else. I don't know why, even though there is a lot of people that kind of follow this philosophy, and I will explain to you why this philosophy is the future of fitness itself and why fitness in general needs a rebranding, so to say. A bit of background on my story. I was diagnosed with multiple blockages in the spine and scoliosis when I was around 18 years old. So I've been going to the gym since I was 14, and I was trying to gain weight since I was 14. So I went up to from 50, I think I started at 55 kilos, and then I went up to 60. I could gain like 5 kilos, and then I went up to 65. So in the end I got up to 69-ish kilos. So there's some muscle more, of course. I would say if I gained something, then it was only muscle there. But you can also see that the body looks just generally different from the composure and structurally stronger. And that's what I want to get into here because, these health challenges, they just made me realize that in order to make real progress, sometimes you have to step back. And maybe you would look at the pictures and say, wow, that's good progress. But you have to imagine it's been 18 years or so since I'm going to the gym. And I've been gradually trying to gain muscle. So I'm still somewhere scratching at 70 kilos. That is not a lot, actually. And I'm getting stronger and I'm gaining weight, but it's very much based on cycles of contraction and expansion. And that is the problem that I want to get into here, that most people have very surface level fitness goals and they ignore the whole rest. That is you as a system have so many bodies, you have so many needs, and just gaining muscle is not enough as a goal. It will get you started as a motivation to do fitness, but the problem is also that we are just too polarized. So it's either always red or blue pill. It's either to go hard and be stoic all the way, or lose it all and be free and lazy. That's what I see. There's a lot of polarization in the fitness industry. How about we just go nature's way? Smash obstacles with the wisdom of thinking long term and regeneratively, with the natural succession of nature's way. And through this revelation, I reshaped my understanding of fitness. It's not a linear race at all. It's a lifelong journey that demands we dig deep and tackle our problems at the root. So we have to embrace the complex interplay of our bodies, learning to listen to the subtle whispers of our physiology before they become desperate cries for attention. And that desperate cry for attention is through the medium of pain. So you could look fit as fuck, but if you're in pain, chronically in stress, chronically fatigued, with chronic inflammation, so to say, that is not a good life. That is not a good life, and it shouldn't be your goal at all. So, the overlooked misconception. Fitness, as most understand it, is not necessarily equal to health. So you can be fit, but you can be unhealthy. You can be sick, but still be fit. You would never know. The relentless focus on surface-based strength and muscle mass often leads to a neglect of overall vitality and wellness. And that is, I think, just a general phase that everybody, like most of the people, go through when they got introduced into going to the gym. It's all about, I'm building muscle, especially as a young man, when you just come out of adolescence and your testosterone just kicks in and you say, okay, now I have this opportunity to gain weight. So I'm gonna do it and gain some muscle. And that is good. Building muscle is healthy if you do it healthy. But also building a house on an unstable foundation is like a recipe for disaster. And that's the worst thing that I saw when I was going to the gym, was these people, like these students, like these people that I was going to school with in my age, 15, 16, taking steroids. Dude, your muscles may be growing, but your whole system, like your whole skeleton system, isn't even developed. Your bones are still in the phase of development, and you're injecting something that just disproportionately grows your strength. You think that is healthy, and while doing that, also your diet is probably fucked up because you don't know shit. So I don't even have to go into how dumb that decision is, But yeah, building that house on an unstable foundation is a recipe for disaster. Eventually, the cracks will open and the structure will collapse. And that is a significant hurdle in many fitness journeys. You see it in people when they go on a hardcore journey of going hard. At some point, they get injured, their body is hurting, they lose motivation, and their goals change all of a sudden. And many people compare their progress also to others who are biochemically and structurally healthier than them. So this leads to a sense of demotivation, and you have to just realize that each body is uniquely different, and your mission on this earth is to figure out what your goal is. So as an example, I had all these problems because I was confronted with being very sensitive, first of all, and having this amalgam tooth filling that was just toxifying my body with, mercury, which is a neurotoxin. And now you would say, okay, many people have that. But I was specifically sensitive to that. And I know it because I've been detoxing from this, and now I feel better. So how do you explain this? So what another man's food is another man's poison, so to say. That doesn't mean that for someone else mercury could be good. Mercury in general is not something that should be in the body, but you get what I'm saying here. So these challenges include dealing with internal imbalances and toxic burdens. We often forget the essence of holistic health. The focus is not on surface level strength, it's about a deep rooted structural integrity. And what does structural integrity mean? Structural integrity is the ability of a component, structure, or asset to operate at optimum level under pressure of a load, including the weight of the asset itself. So that means when I now think about me weighing 65 to 70 kilos, still training with kettlebells, both of them 20 kilos, performing squats, doing stuff that many people 20 kilos heavier than me can't do. And that's because I'm training not to gain muscle at the moment. I'm training to be strong, and I want to get my passive structures trained. So later on, I can focus on building muscle. But that is the foundation. The passive structures, the bones, the ligaments, all of that shit. If you keep building a foundation forever and then start doing the surface level stuff, I tell you, you're gonna see me gain muscle easily when it's time to. And it will be time in a matter of months. So fitness should nourish, heal, and sustain us throughout our lives. Think about it, lifetime perspective. But when it becomes just a race for numbers and appearances, we might forget its true purpose. This is how I created a differentiation about exoteric fitness, which is surface level fitness, sustainable fitness, and regenerative fitness. So, very interesting. The industrial farming of the body. Exoteric fitness can be compared to industrial farming. Industrial farming prioritizes high yields and immediate results, but this can harm the soil. Similarly, exoteric fitness focuses on muscle mass and weight loss but overlooks the overall wellness of the body. This approach is superficial, it pushes the body to its limits, like industrial farming does to the soil. There's no concern for long-term sustainability. This method can deplete the body's soil, so to say. And that's interesting because soil comes from the word, like humus is also a word for soil, and humus is the root stem of human. So we are made out of the earth. So this metaphor can be taken quite literally too. So this depletion of the soil can cause burnout, injuries, and overall health issues. This is similar to how industrial farming strips the lands of its nutrients. Then we have the balance approach, which is something that I call sustainable fitness. So you try to be sustainable with it, and that can also be compared to sustainable farming. Sustainable fitness aims to achieve physical goals without compromising the body's overall well-being. So you're trying to be healthy. It's like sustainable farming, which seeks to produce good yields while maintaining soil health. And the important thing here is maintaining. Both approaches are about balance. It can maintain a cautious balance. It doesn't fully embrace the potential of rejuvenating the body. It avoids just further accumulation of toxins and injury and damage. And the third one is the solution, the revitalizing from within. Regenerative fitness is comparably to regenerative farming. In regenerative farming, focus is not only on maintaining but actively improving and vitalizing the soil. Similarly, regenerative fitness is about more than balance, it's about transformation. And what now comes to my mind is the perfect example of what you do when you build forest garden in permaculture or reforestation. So you have a fruit forest. You're building a garden for yourself that can sustain you. In the beginning, just like regenerative fitness is, it will take more time and more effort to get it started. But once it starts over the years, it can even sustain itself almost. It's way more efficient. So it's exponential. And that is the same with regenerative fitness compared to industrialized versions of what farming or fitness could be. So it's like building up the soil with all its diverse layers of microbiome and elementals, which are the baseline. These are the basics. In our quest for a fit body, what's often overlooked is the body's need for regeneration. Fitness comes and goes quickly. Health is a long-term project, and our bodies are of the earth. This is how profoundly literal this comparison of fitness to farming can be. So this is a invitation to you to embrace a deeper understanding of fitness. Real health is not just about constantly moving forward, it's about also knowing when to step back. And sometimes you have to be very, very, very honest with yourself and very mature to know when to take 2 steps back or 3 steps back. Because if you think about it, when do you take 5 steps back automatically? Yes, when you're seriously sick or injured. And that is a feedback system from nature. If you're doing shit, if you're not doing it accordingly, then your body, your biology is gonna let you know about this for sure in the long term. And we don't want to have that. We want to be strong and fit and resilient throughout the years. And that means incorporating the multidimensionality of what health is. And this real, like embracing this real health is not just about constantly moving forward. So this quote from Kolchak, I think, really nails what health is about holistically speaking. Health is an honest willingness to engage body-mind in such incorporating body-mind challenges as an integral process of creating your dreams. So everything that you run into is a challenge and should teach your consciousness something. So you shouldn't not ignore it. That's not the best way. So you have to reassess and realign every time. In this journey, we must learn to dig deep to address the root causes of our physical imbalances. Understanding that this quest for health is a lifelong commitment. Our journey typically begins with a goal, progresses into habit formation, but often gets mired into either holistic awareness, like synthesizing all the information that seem to be separate, but they make sense in a whole because you are a whole. Or you can choose the road of compartmentalized ignorance. You have pain there, but you still go to the gym and train your legs and the knee, even though the pain is in the knee. You ignore, you just ignore. And that's why I'm calling this compartmentalized, because one part of you is saying you should do this and the other part of you is saying you should not do it. And this is not wholeness. So compartmentalized ignorance can lead us down a path of surface level progression or worse, injury. The best way to move forward is by gradually and consistently becoming more aware of our bodies. Regenerative fitness is measured not just by muscle mass, but by muscle maturity, structural integrity, and strength. It's about building a body that is resilient and functional, and it is strong. One example here. After every neurotoxin detox that I did so far, my body is neither stronger nor has more muscle mass, but has increased capacity of handling stress, cultivating mind-muscle connection because the neurons function better, and more potential of getting strong in the future. It's more about a mindset shift, this whole thing that we just talked about, than anything else. Everything else comes afterward. Many people would object to regenerative fitness because they think it's hard to see the progress. And I agree. Laying a foundation is hard work, but it's literally the foundation. And regeneration is different from traditional fitness measurements, but by your own sense of health and well-being. How energized do you feel? How well can you handle stress? These are real indicators of progress, and they are subjective sometimes. You have to be honest with yourself. Signs such as chronic fatigue, susceptibility to illness, or poor stress resilience can indicate deeper issues. So it's time for us to redefine fitness. It's clear that fitness is due to a redefinition here. A shift from the conventional surface level metrics to a more profound, holistic approach. But more importantly, we've discovered a new way to perceive and interact with our own bodies. I want to give an example here. Some of you are anime fans, I guess, and I guess you also know about the anime Demon Slayer. In Demon Slayer, the protagonist Tanjiro Kamado gets handed his katana. His sword turned black, a symbol of bad omen. His master Urodaki told him that this means he could die an early death. He stayed calm and explained that his reason for becoming an honorable demon slayer is to restore his sister's humanity. to turn his sister from demon to human again. And he is ready to die an early death for it, unfazed. Do you get it? True transcendence is this. Thank you for listening, and see you around next week.